Well, welcome to Navigating to Success. I'm certified focal point business coach Jeff Carlton, and today's business journey explored is with my new friend Alex DeWolf. Um, he's associated with a number of different companies and has been associated with a number of different companies. Um, a founder and entrepreneur of his own soul company, and does some kind of really interesting, cool things with some other companies, and it's too much for me to remember all of it. So I'm going to kick it over to Alex and let him tell us which pies he has his fingers in. So take it away,
Right on.
Alex, and welcome.
I appreciate it, Jeff. Appreciate the opportunity. Yeah, to start it off, my wife and I, back in 2007, decided to start on a journey which would allow her to be a stay-at-home and have a home-based business type type of role. So, due to our love of the furry things, animals and dogs specifically, and the sporting breeds, we started a breeding and boarding kennel business and worked on building that kennel business essentially from the ground up, and meeting a lot of great people from all over the world, really, in that endeavor, and we're still doing that. So we've had a great track record with that, and then along the way, decades happen faster than we believe, and so you get involved with various folks and great folks along the way, and I've had a lot of opportunity to be involved with great partners and jump on board opportunities, and so I came into the EnergiSystems organization in 2019 after the founders, Paul and Rob, had put it together, and basically through working with them, to build EnergiSystems, from that point to where it is today. It's been a fun ride, and then, in between, in recent history, again, starting some different things with various other individuals, a real estate company, and then another kind of business along the way within a business, with my partners at EnergiSystems. And so, it's been fun. It's been a great learning experience, and it's exciting, and I guess it constantly feeds the, as you would say, that entrepreneurial spirit that's always been there, and so it's been fun to just really build on everything I've learned and continue to learn all along the way.
So tell us what EnergiSystems does.
EnergiSystems, we are a petroleum equipment distributor. So we sell any and all equipment related to gas stations, underground storage tanks, dispensers, point of sale systems, anything that touches a gas station. We sell, we service, we install from the construction of a project of nothing all the way up to a new building, to remodeling existing sites and locations. And in addition to that, we are a fully licensed electrical contracting company for
Wow.
Montana and all the states that touch Montana around. We're licensed in all those states as well. And then our car wash component, we in Montana, it's an interesting industry. It's a little bit different than other folks
Maybe a
that
little
do.
seasonal.
Well, not as much as it used to be. I guess it used to be more seasonal. Nowadays, with the size of equipment, it's typically big enough to just break ground whenever and however we need to. So, but we also have a car wash component. So we have essentially three businesses. If you look at our logo, it has fuel, power, and car wash, and those are the three components that we deliver on, building car washes, providing car wash equipment, installations and service, and then even chemical sales along with that. So there's a lot of different moving parts, but it is a very niche industry for sure.
And your specific role is business development. So, um, well, first off, how big is the company? How many employees?
We're right around 50 people at the moment.
Nice.
I guess, you could give or take a few on any given month or week, whatever it is. Seasonally, we definitely have seasonal help that comes on in the summertime as well. But yeah, right now we're currently around 50 across the state of Montana between three different physical locations, and then we also have remote technicians across the state as well.
Right. So you're in Billings, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so you're in Billings. Where are your other fixed locations that people can find you?
We have a location, warehousing location in Bozeman and in Kalispell, Montana.
Okay, so you are pretty spread out geographically for people that are familiar with Montana, because not
Yep.
everybody is, and they certainly don't appreciate that east-west drive, um, and how long it takes. It can take a day. It's definitely a few rest stops. Um, oh, since we asked about size and number of employees, this is your chance. Are you recruiting?
We're, I guess when it comes to the recruiting side of things, yes is the short answer. We're always recruiting and we're always looking for that right fit, for that right butt in the seat, so to speak. Yeah,
Right.
I'm a student of Jim Collins, so I've read his Good to Great book, and talking about putting the right butts in the right seats. That's critically important and
Yep.
something that we strive for all the time.
Yeah, it was a great saying that I learned as I was going through early times in Focal Point was um, people leave a company for two reasons. You either hired the wrong person or you hired the right person and you didn't take care of them. You broke them. And
That's
so
correct.
I really appreciate that philosophy of getting the right butt in the right seat, because that's key to success and retention. Um,
Indeed.
any specific um, retention techniques that you guys do use?
I it's gonna line up probably with what other folks have kind of been seeing and trending is culture. I think that's the word that a lot of people talk about is culture, maintaining a culture that keeps people happy, and not only happy but also open door policies so that they can feel comfortable talking to anybody in the company about any situation, really, if they're feeling any kind of discomfort in any way. But creating a culture that fosters their own education, their own career path, and their own aptitude. They can take it as far as they want, and a culture of encouraging that to help, again, in our niche industry, help all of our team members really grow into taking it as far as they really want to take it personally and
Yeah,
professionally.
I think a lot of companies miss the boat, especially smaller companies. I mean, once you hit that 20 to 30 mark and you're at 50, um, it either creates a big problem that you then have to solve. But some of the smaller companies that are running 3 to 10, they don't set that culture. Um, what I call intentional culture versus accidental culture, and being really clear. Does the company espouse or have a, a set of core values that are written down anywhere that the employees are encouraged to um, aspire to?
That's a great question. I know I've kind of personally jotted down some core values, and I've helped create a mission statement, and we have talked internally about what our goal is. I don't know if I could say I have a bullet point list, other than, I mean, I try to keep it simple for my sake and for everybody's sake. But our core value is taking care of the customers. So when we're talking internally about what are we doing on a daily basis, our customers create our business, and so we need to make sure our customers are taken care of to the best of our ability, and that allows us to take care of our team internally. So it's kind of that revolving, um, you know, the circle of give and take is, you're going to have, if you provide great service, the customers are going to continue coming through the door. And if our
Right.
service starts to falter in any way, then we need to start looking introspectively at what we're doing. How do we get better? Because you can't always blame the customer if they're not receiving good service. So how do we focus on the best service? Because those customers will come back.
Yeah, it reminds me of a great quote from kind of a legendary business guy named Peter Drucker, who said the only purpose of business is to create a customer. Um, and so if you knock the edges off of that and soften it a little bit, it's exactly what you just described. It's about customer service and getting repeat customers. You don't want them to just come in to your store one time. You want to have them
Correct.
repeat. You want to be their go-to guy.
That
Um,
is correct, and that's what drives so much of what we have done and what we continue to do. At the end of the day, it's that reason that people are calling us is because of the service that we're doing. So that it's a
yeah,
great testament for us.
no, absolutely. Um, I want to switch gears into the innovation space because there's been huge leaps in the last 10 years, if not even in the last 2 years, on robotics, AI, and technology. Um, how do you guys adapt to that, and how do you stay on top of it? Because I imagine it's huge in the car wash side. Um,
It,
Curious
it
on the
definitely
petroleum.
Yeah, it definitely is huge on the car wash side. It's been amazing to watch the car wash industry and where it's come. I came from a background prior that was in the building automation control system, so I've been in the technical sphere and the Internet of Things arena for quite a while. And to see the innovation in the car wash side is really amazing. A lot of people don't realize what goes into that car wash equipment when you drive into a car wash and just experience what's happening. But there's a lot of stuff going on there. In addition to the mechanics of it, there's the data side of it that everybody's data is getting tracked in order to harness more club business and everything on
Wait a
the
minute, you're tracking KPIs and KRAs?
you're everything's being tracked. Everything's being tracked.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. But on the petroleum side, Um, this is I've had this thought before, and it's very interesting that as much as the world goes to robotics and AI and all these things in the petroleum world, again, we're back to that niche market. There's still going to have to be people that dig the hole, that put the tank in the ground, that put the lines in the ground and build the infrastructure for everybody to be able to pull your vehicle up and fill it up with the fuel that it needs to go. There's and for that matter, the electric vehicle charging stations as well. That's a whole lot of infrastructure that still needs to be installed, and robots aren't going to do that in the near future.
No.
So that infrastructure is being built. It can be handled and tracked once it's in. There's every single component that we put in has sensors and capabilities to see exactly what everything's doing. But the role that we do as far as the construction of it and the service of it, we we install it and we maintain it. And I just don't see the finish line for where that stops because
Right.
it's got to be there.
Well, and in that was, I could pull that thread further, but we're getting close to the end. I got a couple more things I want to talk to you, but one thing that would really set you apart is if you were first with the next pet rock, right? The next cool thing in pumping gas. I mean, I don't know how sexy pumping gas is, but if you found a way to make the next step in pumping gas sexy, that would really set you apart. But on that on that note, let's talk about what are the future plans? What do you have a strategic plan, and are you growing, or are you in a sustain mode?
I think with regards to growth is that back to that. I like to reference it because he put together such a great book. Is the good to great, type mentality. Like how do you get great, but then how do you sustain great? Sustaining great is good growth, valuable growth, but not out of control growth. You don't want to get out over the end of your skis. So we are paying attention to growing the customer base with us providing a quality service, but also with quality customers, and and we are looking at growth as far as again back to the right butts in the right seats. It takes in our industry somebody willing to go and be in a certain geographic location and help foster that. It really does start local. All of our locations have started local, and it's been very organic with technicians that are local to those areas, and they want to do what we're doing in those areas, and we support that. We support them to help them grow by adding more people to their area. You know, hey, you want to go into this area and grow it? All right, we'll get you a helper and find you somebody that can help do that, and we'll support that. So that's kind of how our growth happens. And I guess I won't say I'll put a limit on it, but we're planning on steady growth, and to put a variable or something to that algorithm, I would say you don't want to go more than that 20% level. Like I think I read in that book where Southwest Airlines had a really great goal strategy to not grow faster than 20% per year, so that they can maintain that growth. And I think that's great. It's a great model.
Yeah, it certainly is, and we know what happens to boom towns. They often implode. I've
Correct.
experienced that as well, and we've seen that in Montana. If you had some magic fairy dust or magic wand, uh, in 15 to 30 seconds, what would you change today?
What would I change today? Oh
Winning
man.
lottery ticket and unicorn petting zoo are off the table.
Correct. Don't we all? Don't we all? As far as changing, um, man, that's a great question because I don't know. The only thing I would change is how do we do what we're doing more efficiently? That's always the change that I think we're striving for, is how do we become more effective, more efficient? I've probably told customers, maybe somebody watching this will say, hey, he's told me that, but I've said I need to clone myself, so I can be less busy. But yeah, looking again, the only change I would say is just working to refine processes and become more efficient at what we do so that we can achieve that 20% growth.
Love it. All right, last question. Everybody gets this one. What would you say to an aspiring entrepreneur or an entrepreneur that's in year one or two that's struggling a little bit?
I would always encourage everybody. I think my whole path ever since I started with my wife and our kennel business years and years ago is, don't be afraid to take risk. I'm not the first one to say it, but that seems to be the one that people get hung up on, whether it's confidence or whatever it is you have to have the confidence to keep plugging away, keep moving forward. And yeah, everything's going to have risk, but your risk and your success, rather, I should say, your success is a direct result of the level of risk you're willing to take on. And lately I thought of this, your level of success can be directly associated with the level of hassle you're willing to put up with, if that's an interesting way to say
I
it.
might
But
have to rip that one off. I like that.
yeah,
I
it
like it.
really is, because on a daily basis, any one of us is dealing with what anybody could determine is a hassle for this or a hassle for that. But your level of willingness to put up with it is going to determine your level of success in the end.
Yeah, I had another guy in the Bozeman area, and a guy down in Australia tell me something also is when you start, be prepared to drive the ships onto the beach and then burn them and
Yeah,
don't look back.
yeah.
Commit to it. So I appreciate it. Well, for everybody watching, thanks for joining us. Alex, thank you for joining me. And I look forward to next time exploring more business journeys. Y'all take care.